Yo, what is going on, guys and girls out there? Hope you're all having a beautiful, lovely day wherever you guys are. Welcome to, if you don't know, now you know. Before we get into the show, I'll just have a little disclosure. This podcast may have foul language, swearing, or we may be talking about some topics you may like. So, that's not your type of show. This is not your type of podcast. So, but if that is, tune in. We love you. We thank you. I appreciate your support. But this man across from me right now here is Lino Hola. He is a man of the community. He is the leader of men's medicine, and he is actually also my housemate and a really good housemate as well. Welcome, Lino. How are you, brother?
Thank you for having us on, bro. Love what you've done here.
Appreciate it, bro. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where are you from?
I am a proud father, proud husband, third oldest of 12 kids, big family man, personal trainer of 15 years, leaning into the coaching space over the last 5 years. Originally, for most of my time, mainly females, but over the last recent times, more so men's work.
Yeah.
More so men's work, heavily, obviously, men's medicine.
Yeah. Shout out to men's medicine, and I've obviously been in that journey with you as well. So thank you and appreciate it as well. So yeah, it's that's where me and Lino met. So maybe run them how we came across each other.
Oh,
We've only known each other like a year, hey.
You wanna go like from the first night?
Yeah.
From the first night. The first night is we shared in a mushroom ceremony.
Yeah, it's pretty deep.
a mushroom ceremony the first night that we met, and that was at my place. And that night was the catalyst for everything that has happened over the last just over 12 months. Yeah. So it'd be like 13 months. And the nature of that night really sort of set the tone for the next, or the whole time. Like I remember, like this is the first night we met, and I still remember like one of the things that really sticks in my mind is like me and you talked a lot that night, but like talking about clonics.
Yeah,
I wasn't familiar with them, and then we went to NZ. After we come back, that was my first one last year, and I was like,
you came with me, hey? That's right.
Yeah. You're like, it's a little bit like. It was almost like you were taking me out for lunch sort of thing. Just like, oh, let's go grab a feed. That was the energy that was surrounding going to get my first clonic.
Yeah, we're going to go get our assholes washed out.
Like to me, that was like, that's an outie hole. So I'm like, man, I don't really know how I feel about this thing. But what I will say is that the experience after the benefits, I definitely felt the benefits.
It is so good, hey. It's like one of those things. Like I was laughing because I was like, I got this Tongan guy in the clinic with me. I'm like, I could see him. He was worried. He was looking at me, going like, "Where have you taken me? Like, what are we doing here?"
Oh, well, we walk in and it's like, like when you're a regular at your local cafe or your local restaurant. That's how the lady, her relationship with you.
Yeah, she's nice as. Yeah, I've been there heaps of times. I'm yo, what's up?
It's not the first time that you've been there. And then when I'm actually in there, then she's just in the room.
Yeah. Because
it's my first time. She likes to make sure that everything's okay. And I'm like, lady, this ain't the time to hang around. Please leave. But when that water starts to build up, she just goes, do whatever it is you want to do. Like, it's not my first time. And I'm like, well, you know what? You're probably obviously right. This is what you do for a full-time job.
Yeah.
So I just let my body do what it needed to do. And I was just like, I don't really care for you there anymore. And but the benefits you definitely do feel clearer after it.
Oh, that's why I did it the very first time. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, that actually works. I feel really good.
The science behind it, what are we talking? The length on the large intestine.
Yeah.
And even still on your first, it's a couple of feet.
Yeah.
For the large intestine. So just to give a bit of context behind it, how's this to start off the podcast?
Sorry, we'll get into the other. We're just talking about clonics here to kick her off, right?
But yeah, look, like it just, if you can take care of your gut health and you think about everything that you put in you consume. Everything that you consume goes through your digestive system, or waste, your body uses what it needs to. Waste goes out the other end. But this is like your body for your whole life. So obviously the science behind it is that when you clean from the other end, it frees the rest of your body. There's all those nook and crannies in your gut.
It's just a service, hey. That's how I feel. I'm just like, look, I'm going to go get a service. I need one. I've been...
Bro, you're coming too.
yeah, I was like, I'm going to. The funny thing is I've never been there. Oh, no, I have been there alone. I usually drag someone with me. But yeah, let's go back to the those magic mushrooms and how we
Look, that first night, it was a powerful night for us all that were there, and like the energy that came out of that night was what set the tone for what turned out to be a massive movement.
Yeah, definitely.
And
those mushrooms were nothing short of magic. That's it. That's why I'm legit can say that. They were we were on a roll, hey.
Yep.
Like that's a moment. Like I've done some pretty cool things. I feel that was one of those memorable moments. I'm like, shit, man, that changed the course of life, and that
for all of us,
moment. Yeah. All of us, hey. It was just like
all of us
snapped us all up in like one little foul hit.
It was so like the timeline events after that, the next 30 days, we sort of did for the month of May, let's do like a 30-day thing. We did that thing, and because you're such a routines guy, what we started to pick up, some of the guys that didn't come, they started to jump on routines. They felt like they were missing out because we were so high vibe after that night. So our first catch up, we said, we'll catch up in a month's time. We did that workout, that catch up on that night, and then you handed out everyone's habits. Everyone's like, geez, we want to do one too. And then I felt like that was a good time to segue, let's go for that walk. So we did another ceremony with the boys, and then we went for the walk the next day. And then that one is the one that went viral.
Yeah.
And then life was never the same ever again.
It just changed, hey?
Yeah.
And what a beautiful journey it has been. Like, I was looking at it today, like where we went to like New Zealand and stuff last year. I was like, I really miss that, man. I was like, I want to get back over there. I was like, I never would have thought in my wildest dreams or days, like, growing up where I was, that I'd be over there doing the things that I was doing. I was like, is those surreal moments where you stand there and we've had, 50 odd men or whatever, and we'll just stand. I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, we're out here making a difference.
It's your birthday this weekend.
Yep.
And this time last year you were in Queenstown, and I think what I remember from last year that your birthday was a really sort of inquisitive time for you. Like, what am I doing with my life? Late 20s, what I want to do with my life. You've been a builder for so many years. And that was sort of what the tone for you for the next couple of months were. Fast forward 12 months, here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are doing this thing. And it's just, like, I couldn't have known that night that we would have been housemates.
Yeah, me neither. I laugh about it.
And we've done, like 20 odd walks together.
It's been a bit, hey?
Hundreds and hundreds of men, workshops across multiple cities, all down the east coast of Australia, from top to the bottom of New Zealand.
Yeah.
And looking forward to coming out of lockdown restrictions and getting back out there.
Yeah, I'm keen to go to Queenstown. I'll put it out there right now. If you're listening, you're from Queenstown, we're coming.
That was probably one of our most memorable walks.
Yeah. What's touch base? What's a highlight for you last year? Because I know there was a lot. We did a lot. We've seen a lot. Highlight.
As you say that, like, my body's just man. There was just so many. There was so many. There was Conscious Leaders.
Oh yeah.
Conscious Leaders. That was a powerful night. There was...
Explain Conscious Leaders to us, just so people got a bit of context around what it is.
Conscious Leaders was an event that was created by some of our friends, and that's where, like, local leaders will come to this night, and they'll hold a night, and people can attend, and then they'll share their story or whatever it is that they want to share. And on this night that they asked for men's medicine to come, we did that night there, and we shared some of our medicine, and it was powerful. There was 130 people that were there. And then we did the eye gaze with the men in the middle. We did the hungi.
Yeah.
And then the women around. And then what we saw was the women holding space for the men. And then when I guess they bowed down to what they were witnessing. They were witnessing what is, I guess, society would consider stereotypically what men don't do.
Yeah, it's very
Be
different.
emotional,
Like, yeah,
share,
being emotional.
express themselves, be vulnerable, and they were witnessing what we do on our walks. And it's funny when I was talking to the bro, Josh Hoya from Pikita Hola and the Ripple Effect podcast, and he was saying it's not like you just go, just tell your bro, let's go for a walk. And I'm like, nah, that is legit what we did.
Yeah.
That is legit what we did. And I think that's what had made the journey so powerful, that we were doing something that no one would do.
Yeah.
Or like meeting all the men that would come to the walks, the lengths that we would go to make them happen. We were just traveling most weekends.
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
And we weren't walking like 5Ks. I'm talking
20Ks. You mean the time I said it was 5K?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. There was that one time I was sick in Sydney. No, was it Sydney?
No, you were sick here.
I was sick here.
So you were sick here. You were bedridden for a whole week, to the point where I actually come over and I made you chicken soup because I felt so bad for you. I was like, man, bro, you've been in bed the whole week. And you live by yourself. So I was thinking, I better go help him. So I come over here and made you chicken soup. And then you started to, and I bought you some other soup so that you could eat while I was gone.
I hadn't eaten all week, really. I hadn't really been out of bed or anything. I was pretty bad. Like, I don't know what happened to me. And then, you come and give me the chicken soup, kind of put a little kick in my step.
And then I don't know why. I don't know why I thought it was 5 kilometers, but it ended up being something like 19 kilometers, I think.
No, yeah, it was like 20.
Yeah.
It was 20, man. I was adding that shit up on the way. I was looking at it, and I was not feeling good. Like, I was feeling shit, but like Lino was like, oh, it's like 5K. I'm like, look, I can make 5K with one leg or whatever, We're
talking about the Blue Mountains in Sydney.
Yeah, cold as too, middle of winter.
So all our walks I've gone and done the recon just to make sure that it was safe for everyone to go. So this one, I thought I read the map at the information center, and for some reason I must have seen 5K, and I thought that must be how long it is.
In Tongan.
Yeah, and the whole time we were walking, and I'm just thinking, man, this is like maybe it is 5K, but I was so wrong.
Bro, there was probably a 5K steep climb up a hill. That was like, we had to walk up these stairs for ages, climb up the side of this cliff.
So you at the back.
I'm always at the back.
You were at the back sweating it.
Yeah, I was struggling. People were trying to talk to me. I'm like, look, man, just a heads up, I'm not feeling good at all. I wasn't a long time before I come here, so if I'm quiet, you know why. I'm just trying to get home.
And I guess it just we would wake up at 3 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock, to go out. That's 2 hours. That destination is 2 hours from town.
Yeah,
from the CBD to go out. We're going out past Penrith, out to the Blue Mountains, and Lawn was the same. Down at Melbourne.
That was
memorable. That was memorable. So one thing we say that on the walk is to leave the vices behind, and there was not leaving the vices behind. I'm pretty sure the one that you were having a hard time with, he was smoking joints. Hey,
yeah, I'm always at the back. I'm the last guy at the back.
Someone's got to anchor.
It was and I had these guys with me, these, and they were just being painful in a way. They're just being little kids. They were walking off into the bushes and stuff. He's like, I'm looking for yabbies. I'm like, there's no freaking yabbies in there. Just get the fuck on the track. He's smoking durries and shit. They're trying to get behind me. I told them to stop smoking. Oh, man. And then they're walking off and they're trying to sit there and smoke joints in the bush. I'm like, are we at high school? Are we at high school? I'm pretty sure you guys are 25, 30 years old.
Oh, man. And it was I was like, bro, you're good. And he's like, bro, having a hard time back here.
I was trying to split him up and everything. I put him at the front, and then 10 minutes later, he's at the back. I'm like, bro, get up there.
Oh, man. Then Napier. So, look, let's go. Gold Coast, that was 20 kilometres.
Yeah.
Then Sydney it wasn't 5 kilometers. That was like 20
Yeah,
kilometers.
that was like 22.
Yeah. And then we thought that's what the formula was.
Yeah.
That's what we thought we had to be. Then Melbourne worked out to be like 15 kilometers. And then that one was like for about 150 meters. That was just straight rock and river.
Yeah. That was
No pathway.
no path. We just walked up the river.
Then there was Hamilton. That one was a nice one.
Yeah, that was Hamilton was.
That was a
really good.
nice one. That was where we were actually at the top of a waterfall. And then Napier. Oh, look, we started walking at 7:30 when I did the recon, and we were finished by 1:30. And then when we did it as a group, we finished at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
But that was probably one of the most memorable. You know what? That was probably one of the most memorable things when we finished. And then they did Tukatonu for us.
Yep. That's my most memorable moment. I was glad you said that because I spoke to Andy about this the other day, and for the people listening, like we walked all day. This is Napier. This is easily one of my most memorable times of men's medicine walks. Man, that was a powerful day, and like it was dark.
Picture this. So there was 50 of us. We sold 50 tickets for that one.
Yeah.
And if you think of this, like majority of the men that are coming on the walks, a lot of them, probably what would you say, 70, 80%, don't do any exercise.
Nah.
Don't do any.
Not anything like that. Like maybe a
like
little bit here and there, but nothing like not walk 20 Ks through the mountains.
And that was the first one, huh? That was the first one.
In New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the first one in Napier.
Yeah.
And the bro that came, he clearly did no exercise. But because his brother actually took his life, prior to that, God rest his soul, that, he hadn't done any exercise for a long, long time. So that set the tone, for
It was
that.
a slow pace all day. Like, we got 50 men, we're walking through the mountains, like, and it was hard. Like, we had to obviously just go as fast as he could go.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And that's probably the one thing that, we can really pride ourselves on is that we never let no one get left behind.
No one ever got left behind.
And I guess also picture this, that, majority of the men that come, a lot of them, they're there because they know that they need to be there. They don't really know why they are there. They don't know what they're in for. A lot of them don't do any exercise. And the walks were anywhere from 15 to 20 kilometers. And that one there, by the time we've got back, we've got grown men, 50 of them. I'm at the front, you're at the very back. On the way back, we look at talking, that one's 17 kilometers, it was 8.5 Ks each way. And at 3 p.m., we still had to make our way back.
Yeah.
At 3 p.m., we still had to make our way back. So, and it was sort of like, this is going to take a couple of hours.
I remember looking at the time because I'm the time police. I love knowing what, and I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the guys. I'm like, we got to get back up that fucking hill. I was like, we're going to be here forever.
Eat your food, get up the hill. And that's like literally just straight cliff face.
Yeah, we're just straight up the mountain.
Yeah, straight up the mountain. That's the walk back on that one. The bro was, our biggest guy was like 150?
Yeah.
150 kegs.
Yeah, but they're punching it up that hill though.
And we got up there, and when we got back, we finally got back. And I guess, you know what, it was a real, and we were that night, we had to drive back, huh?
Yeah, we had to drive back as well. We drove to Hamilton. No, we drove to Auckland.
Yeah.
That night.
Yeah. And
we drove from Napier back to Auckland that night. We got to Auckland at like 3 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning, and then we walked Auckland as well. Was it that time?
Oh, I don't know. However, we got back.
Can't remember.
Yeah, can't remember exactly how we got back. But when we finally got back from that walk, to be, and picture this, that we were all in the middle, and I really wanted you guys to get acknowledged, that the support crew to get acknowledged. So when we were standing in the circle and I was calling everyone in and everyone was getting the opportunity to get acknowledged, those 50 men, and it was dark at this point. There was no lights. We had the cars, some of the cars.
Yeah.
Some of the cars. So
and the phone lights and stuff.
And then we put our phones down, turn them up with the torch, and it was just, it was an atmosphere. And then they broke out in haka.
Yeah.
and dedication to you guys, well, to all of us. Yeah, that was phenomenal.
That was the most memorable thing. Like, that always shows up for me. They're like, oh, what's the most memorable? I'm like, that has to be it, because, like, let's imagine a circle, like all men out there, 50 men, dark, exhausted, been a long day. And just for me, you know when you can just feel it, and someone's like their appreciation and their respect, that they showed in that. It was like, it wasn't just a normal haka. That was rumbling. It was loud.
On top of that, like, I'd been there for a week, so you guys arrived at what time did you guys get in? You guys got into Hamilton,
Yeah.
and then you didn't sleep.
No, we didn't sleep. We
you
just
guys
stayed
didn't
up.
sleep. It was about 2 hours
Yeah.
till we had to meet, and then we walked Hamilton. After we finished Hamilton, we drove to Napier. We stayed where we were staying. Woke up in the morning. We went and met them, and then we went out. We did the walk, and by that time, like, it's 7:30 p.m. at night, and pretty much for 36 hours, it's been non-stop. And we've got to get back in the car, and we've got to get back again.
Yeah, we get back to Auckland.
Yeah.
No, that we did do Auckland after that, because that was the one where we walked Auckland, and it was easy. It was an easy walk.
No. That was the second time. That was the second time, because remember, me and you did the recon. As soon as we flew in.
Father's Day.
Yeah. As soon as we flew in, me and you went and did the recon.
Okay, yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, that was the second one. So I actually don't remember how we went to sleep that night. But the energy that came out of that one, like, we really let our purpose pull us forward, because if we told anyone how we did what we did, there's no way in the world anyone in their right minds would have done what we did.
Hell no. No one's taken like 50 guys walking like 20 Ks till dark.
Yeah.
Like,
and we all know I'm not an endurance athlete.
You sure?
So, like, people would go, oh, and you go hiking, and I'm like, man, I just let my legs carry me.
There's a Tongan hike. There's so many times, like, I know Lino, he gets, like, tired, and I'm looking at him at the front, and I'm like, okay, he's worn. I was like,
oh, man.
I was like,
the only way you could do that is because of the, what it's doing for other people.
Yeah, that's it, hey. Like, when that sense of, you're like, shit, I done some stuff today. I helped these people. I'm like, I'll walk. I'll keep walking.
Yeah.
I'll get my ass up that hill.
By the time we'd finally got to the end, and all of these memories, like, they're just bringing goosebumps to me.
Yeah.
Just remembering all of the things that we did. By the time we'd got to Queenstown, or even just Auckland, the one where me and you did the recon, that was I was just grateful for shorter walks.
Oh man, when we this what happened. Like, we were obviously walking 18 to 20K on all these walks, and we walked to Auckland. What was it? It's like
Auckland 10Ks.
10K. We're like, why have we been walking 20?
Yep.
I said, there's no need to walk 20Ks.
It's one of those things you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Oh, man.
And that's, we learned lesson after lesson after lesson. And I think, fast forward all of this time, people always ask me all the time, like, how did it start? How did it start? And I was just even talking to one of my clients the other day, and he was like sort of telling me about how when we started, how it sort of got a few people's knickers in the knot, and I was like, look, man, I never set out with a business plan.
Yeah.
I actually didn't establish it as a business for a couple of months.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a website for a couple of months. We were just...
No, I kicked off the first website.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, we need somewhere.
Yeah. I didn't even... It was just an idea.
Yeah.
It was just an idea.
It was very organic.
Yep.
Like, it just organically grew.
Yeah, 100%. And the lives that have been changed in all of that time, a lot of the people are still in the work.
Yeah.
A lot of the people are still in the work, doing it. And, man, just grateful, hey. More than anything. More than anything, hey. Obviously, I feel very nostalgic.
Yeah.
About it all. And just the impact, the relationships, the memories, and to know that we're soon to come back out and go back into walks again, that feels good.
Oh, I'm like I did a breath work today with one of the boys, Luke Baker, and for me, I was just like, I'm ready to get back out there. I'm like, because we're doing the breath work and stuff, and the feeling, and you're playing, and we're going through the motions, and helping people and working with people. I'm like, I'm done. Like, let's open the gates. Come on, open New Zealand up. Let's get it going again, because I'm so keen to get back out there.
And like we were talking last night about how a lot of people from certain communities, they kind of get stuck there. And then what we do is we just normalize everything.
Yeah.
We just normalize everything, like everything from the breath work to training to business to spirituality to meditation to nutrition, whatever it is that we're doing. These are all areas that most people, that when they're in it, they're stuck in that area. But we really normalize everything.
Yeah, we're playing all the lanes, hey?
Yeah.
I like that about us, It's like, like we can go be playing the spiritual world.
Yeah.
I don't live there, but I love it. Yeah. I love and
it's a piece. It's a piece of the puzzle. It's a part of what makes everything work. I guess question before, so the morning routines is a massive thing from you.
Yeah.
And before, when you were doing morning routines, was breath work and meditation, was that part of your routine? Meditation
was, but it was nothing deep. I had an app called Headspace.
Yep.
And I loved Headspace, and I wasn't consistent enough of it. But when I seen the breath work and that got introduced to me, I was like, darn. I was like, this is me.
Yeah. That was, and I think that's one of the things that we can all agree it's done for us.
Yeah. I didn't understand that meditation or anything. I just knew. I was like, app, okay, yep, done. That was it. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't ask any questions about, the spiritual side and where it come from or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's where I got introduced to you guys, and we went down that path, and it's important to go play in all those lanes.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I always see people when they're like, this is me. This is all I do. I'm like, I love seeing other people. You see a different avenue or a different, okay, jump over there. We'll see what's over there. Have a little play around.
From that post that Josh posted up yesterday, and he was talking about how he judged what we did like 12 months ago, and then 12 months later he's actually reached out.
Yeah,
he's actually reached out. And when I read it, I thought to myself, man, there's no way in the world. I didn't step out to do meditation or breath work or even to be guiding all of this, doing everything that we've done.
Yeah.
It's 100% been organic.
Oh, man, like even when people started showing me breath work, I'm like, I don't know how to breathe. Like, fuck off. Like, I'm all good. Like, what are we going to sit here and I'm like, man, I know what I'm doing.
And then you think about, some of the memories, Bridge, Extreme, every place that we've gone to, Conscious Leaders, the workshops, Shop Talk, the people that we've met, that we've come across, and then and just the people that reach out. The people that reach out, like a memory that's coming to mind is because, for a long time you were single.
Yeah.
For a long time you were single, and when people, I'm like, bro, is that because the girls are reaching out to you, and she's like, when you tell me that, I'm like, because I like to ask a lot of questions.
No, you don't.
And I'm like, bro, what are they saying? And they're like, you're coming into my vortex?
Yeah, I got that so many times, and you're showing up in my dreams and stuff like that. I'm like, don't lie to me. I'm like, you just seen me on Instagram and you messaged me. Don't say that to me.
Oh man, it probably doesn't help. You've got the best set of teeth, and they're just like, oh, he's He looks interesting.
You got a big smile on my face. There's this brown guy smiling all the time. Like, what's he up to?
Man. And it was just sort of like this group, whatever it looked. And there's obviously a certain type that's attracted to what we had.
Yeah, I love those spiritual girls. Though. They know how to drop in too. You know, they I've got to give it to them. Mate, they ask for what they want. You know,
What did they say?
oh, we'll keep it PG here, but no, but like they're direct. Hey, I like it. I'm like, oh shit. It was different for me because I'd only ever dealt with like you know the casual woman down at the at the bar kind of thing. It was very different. So I get these. These women in the spiritual world, they're very in touch with themselves, they're very connected, they can drop in, they're very centered, and I'm like, they just come up and just say some things. I'm like, okay.
And I guess the other thing is that obviously I'm married, so I don't receive all the messages that all of you guys, or the attention that you guys were receiving. And then guess what? We had this team that all of you would have been receiving stuff.
Yeah.
Messages left, right, and center, and the attention that was drawn from it. Like it's just been a wild ride.
Yeah, it's a wild
in
ride.
every single way possible.
It's an exciting time. So, what about, man? What's something like a real moment that changed your life last year? No, actually, let's talk this year.
This year,
because that we just wrapped up last year.
Embodiment. So. Coming through everything that sort of happened, and then I realized, especially last year, I massively believe that it's important that, that we all have someone that supports us. And I realized that from leading that I didn't have that person. And which is why I reached out to the bro, Jared, that I needed that support, and I knew that I needed someone. And then I went to Embodiment, and that one was a game changer for me. Yeah. Yeah. Like it just, remember I came back and I was like all mush.
Yeah.
I was like
it's spaghetti brain. Like too. I just seen his tongue go walk around. I'm like, oh, he's just still processing. He's all good.
Still integrating.
He'll load up the little spinning wheel. He'll get back on the track in a minute.
Yeah, that was a game changer for me, especially considering that, we went to Bali, went to the Embodiment retreat. They took our phones off us. It was 8 days. And then when we came back out, the whole world had changed. That's
right. I was here. I was like, this is like just post-corona. And you guys went to Bali, and then like just as you got into your retreat, the whole COVID thing kicked off. And I was like, oh shit, these guys
your message was, bro, if you can, stay there.
Yeah. I was just like, things are going to shit here. I was like, maybe I should go to Bali too.
Yeah, and then that was, we got back on the 22nd, 2 weeks quarantine, and it's like we've been just remodeling life. Yeah. Life, not just business. But you know what? Finding out that I was having a child obviously was...
Yeah. You found that out last year.
Yeah. No, I think that was... that was this year. Yeah, because I didn't know at Christmas...
Yeah, I thought you did.
No, because we got back on the 16th from NZ.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, we got back from, on the 16th, and then found out earlier this year, like 6 weeks after.
Yeah, shit.
6 weeks after, found out. And, look, having a child has changed everything. And once again, obviously, even for the next 2 months, I'm like, I can do work for the next 2 months, like travel, and then child straight after that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, it's going to be this time has been so interesting. Obviously we live together, but it's been perfect in a way, in a sense, because there's some things that needed to happen, some growth that needed to happen. And you know what? The world just needed to stop for a little while so I could just do some of that shit. Yeah,
100%. 100%. If everything didn't go the way that it did, do you think that you would have done this?
No. Hell no. Oh, nah, I don't know. I was thinking, I'm like, shit, sometimes I go, who knows? But no, definitely. Corona and the whole, everything pushed me into places that I needed to be in, uncomfortability. And yeah, it's been nice. It's been refreshing, hey? So.
And I think that's probably one of the things that I find I appreciate, I'm entertained by, and I'm amused by. Like 12 months ago, like when we met, you didn't even use Instagram.
Nah.
You didn't at all use Facebook. But I find, like, I'm easily amused. You're easily entertained. But you're such a man of action. Like, remember when you were building the gym stuff?
Yeah.
I come out into the garage and I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? And then just like, I'm building gym racks. But you just like, you had a couple of gym racks.
Yeah.
How many of those things do you reckon you sold?
70. So for the people that don't know, like whole COVID was going down, and I was like looking at it.
All the gyms closed.
Gyms are closed, and
no one's got any gym equipment.
I was like, fuck this. I'm like, I'm gonna make some squat racks. I'm like, I gotta do something. I don't like not doing nothing. I'm like, at least if I'm locked down, I'll be locked down here. I can be cutting shit up. I can be doing something.
And that's probably one of the things that I have come to learn and expect from you is that it starts off as an idea and then it's a thing. It starts off as an idea and then it turns into a thing. You talk about something, expect within the next 24 to 48 hours to see whatever it is you were talking about. When I walked in here, you were putting the insulation and you were pinning down the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" It's like, "I'm building a podcast room."
We're just like, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm doing podcasting, and then the next day I've got a podcast room. This is this room here.
And it's like,
can you help me put the roof on, bro?
even with the gym racks, the gym racks was an entertaining one. Like and you know what? Like you don't do anything in halves. Like you had the dimensions out, you put up the Instagram thing, real quick. The videos out. You had someone, you had Tip come around, and he was doing the modeling for it. But probably one of the most entertaining things, even with the walks, is the questions. The questions. You can have things spelt out for people, yet the questions will keep on coming. And just the look of frustration on your face with people asking questions that they already got the answers to.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't do all that. I'm like, it's fucking on the sheet. It's written there.
Oh, man. So then when they shut down, but even like going from the gym racks to, like, you got stickers made.
Yeah, bro. I gotta get the stickers.
You had stickers made, and then just even you bought the spray painter.
Yeah.
You bought the spray painter as well. So
brought a welder.
Yeah, you brought a welder.
I got a good welder. I got everything.
Yeah, and it just
systemized it.
Yeah, and that's probably the thing that people can expect from you is that that you are a man of action. And you're so routine, and like I said before, I ask a lot of questions, and this might almost seem like I'm like returning the conversation here, but I've come to learn a lot of things that I'm pretty sure that a lot of people don't know about you. Like you went to boarding school. Remember this conversation? If you don't know, Hecka went to boarding school. If you don't know, now you know. That. And I just curiously, bro, how long did you go to boarding school for? You're like, my whole life. So I'm like, what do you mean your whole life? He goes, since I was 6. And I was going, what do you mean since you were 6? And you're like, well, I grew up with the nuns. And then I went to boarding school, high school. I was like, hold on a second. What do you mean you grew up with the nuns? I was like, well, I spent 6 months with the nuns. And then I spent 6 months in the shearing shed. I was like, what? What do you mean, like the whole of primary school? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, and then you went to high school and you lived at high school your whole life. You're like, yeah. I'm like, so you never went home to see your parents? Like, no, in the holidays. I was like, hold on, 6 months in a shearing shed? I'm not sure I understand this. Does anyone know this? And you're like, nah, I've never really spoken about that before. And then I started to join the dots and start to realize, well, if you're in a boarding school, I'm like, tell me more about that. I'm like, where's all your stuff going? You go, well, that's why, like, you have to do certain things at a certain time, and like you're not leaving until your room looks a certain way. And if you don't know, you will just hear me say this over and over again. If you ever looked at Hecka's room, that it is meticulous. It's like a hotel room, and the way that the bed is made, it's like folded in the corners. And I look at it and I'm just like, it's like you've ironed your blankets down. Like for me, I like to leave doors open. I like to be very relaxed, and I'm sure you've witnessed me just like this. It probably triggers the shit out of you to watch how just lax I can be and flagrant.
I've lived with some rough people, so I'm like, hey, he's good.
And this is over here and that is over there. But that explains why a lot of things are the way that they are. Like, and this is how you become such a product of your environment. Like my wife likes to tuck in the bed sheets and that as well, and the blanket. And when I jump in the bed, if my feet are stuck underneath the blanket, like that's the first thing I do. I kick it out. I kick it out. Why would I want my fat tongue and feet stuck? I want one half of my body out of the blanket and the other half I want warm because I want to be, I'm half cold, I'm half hot. But now I've started tucking in the blankets and I'm thinking, you prick.
What have you done?
You saw me the other day, you're organising my day. And remember you come up and I was like, fuck off.
Yeah, I was like, look, I was like, oh, he's writing out his day. Got him.
And this is legit, like how things start to rub off. But yeah, if you get to know Heka long enough, you'll start to realize how systemized you are, routine you are, and that is one of the reasons why you are. Is because of that was your experience your whole life.
That didn't even like occur to me until you actually asked that question. You know, when you asked me that, it was like a light bulb. Mine was like bing. I was like, holy shit! I was like, that's why I love being the way I am. And like, I'm like, I didn't just wake up and I wanted to be organized. I'm like, I've been doing it since day dot because I had to. Like when you go back to when the nuns used to look after us, we had to be in the. Like, you know, we had to get up, I think it was like 7 o'clock or whatever, but you weren't allowed to leave your room and that. You had to stay in bed until then. I got up early because at the shearing sheds, we get up at like 5 o'clock. So there, you had to get up at 7, but I was ready to go. So I used to make my bed and then like put my uniform on and then quickly jump in there and then like slide it. So when I could get out, I could just quickly shoot out of the bed, like throw my pillow on. Your bed had to be made, otherwise you couldn't go down and have breakfast. And then, yeah, I'd have my uniform on, shoot my ass down there and get the Fruit Loops straight away.
Get the Fruit Loops straight away.
And they used to ring the little bell, like they had a bell and everything. They'd ring the bell and then you could get up and go down there.
And you know, like this is look, what's highlighting for me right now is how, you know, your upbringing and where you come from and where your parents come from and all of that sort of stuff, how much of an influence. Like if people, when I first met you, I thought you were Aboriginal. Yeah. Because you like to run all the time. And I was just like, well, you're not really, you don't have the same sort of like body as me and you don't have a Kiwi accent. And I'm thinking, you sound like you're full Aussie. And I'm like, but he sounds like he's from the country. So I'm like, maybe he is part Aboriginal. Maybe half cut because you're not that dark. And then you tell me that both your parents are Māori. And I'm thinking, how did two Māori parents end up in the middle of Queensland? Like, when you're in New Zealand, you're thinking, I'm going to go to, how many people in Quilpie?
Oh, not many, like 50, 100.
Like 50 to 100.
Yeah.
50 to 100. And how far from the coast is it? Because it's far.
Oh, the next town is Eromanga, which is like 40 minutes away. That's the furthest town from the sea in Australia. So we're a long way.
And when you say the furthest, like how many kilometres from the sea?
Oh, like 1,300, 1,400?
1,300.
Yeah.
That's the distance from Brisbane to New South Wales, to Sydney.
Yeah, she's right in there.
Yeah, it's far. So you're probably closer to Northern Territory than where you are.
Yeah, it's just straight into Alice Springs.
Yeah.
Head from Brisbane straight towards Alice.
Yeah.
But it's not nowhere near Alice Springs as well. Still a long way, but.
And then I'm thinking to myself, why does he sound the way he sounds? And this is, once again, I ask a lot of questions, and that you said that because your parents are both shearers.
Yeah.
They're both shearers. They were shearers back home, and that they do the shearing circuit. I didn't even know what a shearing circuit is.
Yeah. Shear and run.
But that's how you end up sounding the way you sound.
Yeah.
Sounding the way you sound because your parents, they still do that. They're still on the shearing circuit.
Yeah, they love it. They love it.
And if you're not familiar with the shearing circuit is, can you explain what that is?
Like shearing, like a run, like shearing sheds, like they get a run, like so every year or every, twice a year, depending on where it is, they'll shear those same sheds every year, or every 6 months, and they'll just go around. So someone will own a run, So if that's your area, that's your hood, you'll have all these sheds.
Around Australia?
Oh, no, in certain areas. So like around like parts of New South Wales, like some guys have a run down south in South Australia, and then some will have a run in Queensland. Different, like they call them the contractors, cockies they call them. They'll have like different runs, and they'll just have like a circuit of sheds that they go do in that area.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'll go to all the sheds, and then they'll go do another run somewhere.
So if anyone is wondering why your accent is what it is, like me and my parents come from Tonga, and I remember when I went back to Tonga, and I thought to myself, this guy. So I went back to my dad's village, and I was like, this guy, he loved Tonga so much that when he moved to Australia, he moved and because my father farms, he went and just recreated it. I'm like, this looks like home. Because I grew up on a 100-acre farm, and all the things that we grew when I went back to my dad's village, it looked just the same.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, isn't that crazy? You know, like my parents did what your parents did.
Yeah, they just...
My dad did what your dad did. Loved home so much, or loved what he did so much, or that's all he knew, or what he knew best. So he just went and did that thing.
Yeah, fuck, it's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Crazy how we ended up over here. We'll leave this one at 40 minutes because I know we've got so much more conversation to have.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we could sit here for 2 hours.
I think we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm like, how much have we got left on that camera? I'm going to have a look. No, I didn't want that camera to run out, so. But yeah, we got another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's probably about before I have to.
I'm like,
get
otherwise
going for my hypnobirthing.
Yeah, we got to go to the hypnobirthing. But we'll finish up the questions with what's a goal for this year for you?
To fulfill what I believe is possible. That, you know, I always gauge my time, my life from birthday to birthday. And I'd like to feel that when it comes to my birthday, end of November 27th, that when I wake up on my birthday, when I look back, that everything that has happened was better than my last birthday. And that I'm extremely happy and content about that. And I feel great about that. That me and my wife, that we've spoken about this one before. Yeah. How do you end up living with your mate when you're married?
It's been a good household.
It has been. But I'm sure we, can both agree it's time for
the next chapter.
Married Hola to go out and live the family life, with my wife.
Yeah,
and
you got a kid and stuff
son.
like that. It's different, like when you've got kids. I never that's why I'm like, shit. I never thought. I'm like, when you got kids and stuff, you'd be like, okay, cool, need my own house.
Yeah, and I imagine when if you were to describe what your vision of being a father and a husband would be, you'd probably agree. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It doesn't in that picture. It doesn't include your housemate.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, okay, I see it now. I'm like, okay, yeah, probably one more.
We forgot you were married. Yeah, bro, you've got to go find your own place. So when we're in our own home, especially definitely by my birthday with our son, and that men's medicine has done what it was supposed to have done, and that we've impacted the lives.
Yeah,
that we should have. All the work that should have been done has been done. That's what always makes me feel content, satisfied, fulfilled.
Yeah,
fulfilled. Yeah, that gives me a lot of meaning.
Yeah, sweet, bro. Thank you. Yeah, fuck. That's been good podcast, man.
Yeah, we only just getting warmed up.
I know.
I'm like the juicy stuff was really on the other side. So if anyone was listening to this and they thought there was juice in this, I'm just getting warmed up, ready to go. But it is time to go.
It is.